I'm going to be taking you on a walk of Uptown Hoboken, specifically streets from Washington Street from 11th all the way up to the north end of Hoboken, 15th Street. Okay, we're starting the walk of Uptown Hoboken right here at the birthplace of baseball. Little did you know that baseball was actually invented in Hoboken and not Cooperstown, New York. You can see on the street even there's a home plate here, right where they say it all happened, and so it's kind of a landmark. Hoboken Uptown is a really unique place. One of the favorite places to live within Hoboken. So there's a lot of shops and restaurants, as well as the waterfront. So today what we're going to do is we're going to walk down Washington Street. We're going to actually walk up Washington Street to the northernmost end. And then, you'll get to see what the shops and what the restaurants look like. So follow me. Let's do it. So Uptown Hoboken really starts about 11th Street. Some people say 10th or 9th, because downtown is really about 5th and below. And Uptown really starts again 9th, 10th, 11th, so really 11th. Anything below that, kind of midtown-ish. If you kind of look at like what's going on here in terms of some of the shops that you get traditional shops like dry cleaners and nail bars and blowout bars. And then you have Augustino's restaurant here. And when we do a restaurant review, take you in there. But that's probably the most famous of all the Hoboken restaurants. It's all the celebrities who go there and, famous people. It's cash only, but they have the best pork chop by far anywhere in the world. So again, Uptown here, you're going to get a lot of these cool little shops. Alfalfa has some of the best salads going. This used to be an old dinette. You can tell by the sign up there. It's only been about 5 years since they've converted that over from the dinette. Used to be able to get a grilled cheese sandwich there for like $3, not that long ago. So as you're walking here, standard stuff, haircut places, blowout bars. Biancamano's Deli is probably one of about 6 old-time Italian delis that are still here. They just happen to be on vacation this week, but that's homemade mutts. My wife's favorite mutts. When we go by my place, I'll let you know that too, but it's not in Uptown, more Midtown. So Napoli's is a fan favorite. Brick oven pizza. On a Saturday, that place is jamming all the time. But as you can see, with lots of shops, lots of restaurants here on this side of the street. On the other side of the street, it's basically mainly some rental buildings, and you could tell the rental buildings by the fact that they have some of those air conditioners in the window. One time, I ordered a pizza from Brick, and I showed up at Napoli's. I said, "Where's my pizza?" And they're like, "We don't have it." And I'm so confused, but it was actually because it's right next to Brick. And anyway, I sorted it out after 2 or 3 trips. But there are a number of pizza places, so just make sure that you get the right one that you know when you're going. So Uptown Hoboken has a couple of grocery stores. Not quite mini markets or bodegas, and not quite full-size supermarkets. One of them is Urban Market, which is based out of Brooklyn. They have come here to grace us here in Hoboken. The other one is King's, a few blocks away, but not a full-size King's. Again, these are more grocery stores where you need to have get your essentials and that kind of thing, just enough. But there are other full-size grocery stores in Hoboken, like Acme and like ShopRite, for more like your full weekly shopping. These stores here are if you want to grab things for the dinner for the evening. Okay, so we're here at 11th and Hudson Street. As I said, like the cutoff between the Uptown Washington Street and sort of the Midtown. And we're here at what I would consider history in Hoboken. A little bit of a hidden gem right now. Sirenetta is right here. It's
It's in the site of the old Maxwell's. This is a place that, although Maxwell Coffee was down the block, and now it's Maxwell Place with the condos, Maxwell's was a place that was known for live bands. It was the place. I don't know what the guy who owned it or whatever, but he had a real good connection within the music industry, and a lot of famous people have played here. One of the things that you might know Maxwell's for is Maxwell's back room, where they filmed the Glory Days video for Bruce Springsteen. Justin Timberlake a few years ago shot a video here as well, in the new space, but the old space, it was a kind of a big deal when they shut it down. But the new restaurant that's here, it's a very good American fare restaurant. What my favorite thing is when you walk along it, it's got the cleanest windows of any place in Hoboken. I don't know what they do, but it's like all the windows here pop, and when you walk through, it's like it sparkles. The back room is really cool because they sometimes have live music, but more like a guitar player and that kind of thing. And then it's kind of like a loungy area in the back. Not so much they serve food back there or dinner like they do in the front, but more cocktails and that kind of thing. So they do have the outside parklet. When it warms up a little bit more, you're going to see that bustling. It's a side street, which I like a lot better for a parklet than Washington Street, because you don't have buses. Literally, you don't have buses by your parklet. That's the worst thing I think in the world, is you have these cool little parklets, and then you got a bus going by. Here on the side street, it's not quite like that. You do have some traffic, but as you can tell, it does feel, with the trees and everything, like it's almost like a hidden garden. I would check it out. Sirenetta right here. Across the street is their sister restaurant, Soralina, on the other corner of 11th and Hudson. Italian. I prefer Sirenetta more, honestly. Some people do like Sirenetta, Soralina at the bar, that kind of thing. But for my money, get the raw bar at Sirenetta, go get the dinner, have some drinks in the back, get that cool, like, little lounge in the back there. Soralina, like I said, that's a personal preference, so I'll see you at Sirenetta.
We've now hit 15th and Washington Street. We're here at Toastique, not to be confused with Toasty. Personally, I think Toasty has great breakfast or great soups. Toastique, good smoothies and salads and that kind of thing. Very different.
One of the things that really stands out about Uptown Hoboken is the lifestyle. And spots like Toastique are a perfect example of that. It's become a go-to for coffee, fresh juices, and quick, healthy options, whether you're heading into the city or just starting your day locally. And what
a lot of the middle of Hoboken, there are no garages, there are no parking spaces, so it's kind of fighting for it on the street. That is a conversation for another day, I promise you, in terms of how to fight for street parking. You think New York City is bad? New York City is bad. Hoboken is bad too. That's why you get a lot of visitors that come to Hoboken that complain about the parking. Mainly, it's not that they're just complaining about the parking, they're complaining about the lack of garage. And, New York City, there seems to be a garage every block. Yeah, you have to pay for it, but it's convenient. In Hoboken, it's either uptown or downtown, but there's really not a lot of parking availability in the middle. So that's why I think a lot of people will complain about the parking. And, nobody likes to pay for parking, and they can see other people getting it for free. Drives people crazy. So that's 15th, and now we're continuing on around the building to the waterfront. This is kind of the Hoboken Cove over here. So this waterfront runs all the way down through Liberty State Park in Jersey City, all the way to the George Washington Bridge and beyond. So you're going to get a lot of cyclists when the weather's nice, a lot of runners, a lot of walkers, a lot of dogs, a lot of everything that comes on this waterfront because it's just beautiful. And again, you can go forever and ever and ever. But as we see here, Hoboken Cove connects Weehawken with Hoboken. So across the cove is Weehawken. Path walks around one side to the other. Over in Weehawken there, you've got a Ruth's Chris, a couple other restaurants right on the water there. Chart House, which you can't see from here. They have sailing lessons here in the cove, which are pretty cool. If you're going to learn to sail in the Hudson, you better be somewhere protected. Otherwise, you're going to just get washed out in the tidal estuary of the Hudson River. But Cove is beautiful. The sunsets on the buildings here are awesome because the light reflects from the west, which is the opposite way of the city. So you'll get that reflective light that will come in for the sunsets. And then for the sunrises, that sun comes right up over the Midtown and over those big buildings that you have there. So this is the walkway, as you can see, is pretty wide. I mean, even with the snow, well, it doesn't do it quite as much justice as if the trees were all in bloom and there was no snow and there were runners and bikers and people that were actually happy to be outside today. But you will get a lot of that, especially in the spring, summer, and fall. So this is just one little segment of the Hoboken walkway. Again, you can see this construction over here that you're seeing is a whole new park that's being put in for Hoboken and as part of the water retention system for Hoboken, so that you probably heard or have heard about flooding in Hoboken. This is all part of a whole government build out to kind of prevent a lot of that from happening in the future. And so, it's actually happening and they're building the walls and doing all the cool stuff that they need to do to make that work. So this is kind of the very end, 16th Street or the waterfront or whatever you want to call it here in Hoboken.
Right along the waterfront, there are seasonal kayaking programs where you can sign up and paddle right on the Hudson. It's typically run during the warmer months, and it's a really unique experience, being out on the water with the Manhattan skyline right in front of you. They offer both free and scheduled sessions, so whether you've done it before or not, it's pretty accessible. So one thing about Uptown Hoboken is that it's super convenient to commute to New York City. You have the ferry at 14th Street. You have the buses on 14th Street that are just 2 blocks back into the Lincoln Tunnel. And a lot of these buildings have shuttles down to the path. This might be the most commutable place in all of Hoboken. To recap why you'd want to live in Uptown Hoboken, actually don't come here at all. There's already too many people. I'm just kidding. This is the best place right here in Uptown Hoboken. In my opinion, of all of Hoboken. You can live in a brownstone if you want to. You can live in a full service building with a doorman and a pool and an elevator and a shuttle to the path. And you have the walking trails all along the waterfront. And you have the shops and you have the restaurants. There really isn't a better place than Uptown Hoboken. So as we wrap up here, I think the biggest takeaway from Uptown Hoboken and really Hoboken as a whole is the overall lifestyle that comes with living here. It's one of those places where everything just works together in a way that's actually pretty hard to find anywhere else, especially this close to Manhattan. You got the waterfront right here with open views of the skyline, walking paths, and green space. But at the same time, you're only a few blocks away from Washington Street, where everything is happening day to day. And that balance is what really defines Uptown Hoboken. You're close to the energy, but you're not right in the middle of it all the time. What stands out most is how walkable everything is. Whether it's grabbing coffee in the morning, heading to a workout, meeting friends for dinner, or just going for a walk along the waterfront, it's all part of your routine without having to think about it. You're not getting in your car, you're not planning your day around traffic or parking, you're just stepping outside and everything is right there. And that convenience changes how you actually live on a daily basis. It's a much more connected and efficient lifestyle. At the same time, there's still a strong neighborhood feel here. It's active, but it's not overwhelming. You've got a mix of people, young professionals, couples, families, and it all blends together in a way that feels natural. You'll see people out walking, spending time at the park, sitting along the waterfront, or just going about their day. And that consistent activity gives the area a really solid energy. From a broader perspective, Hoboken offers something that a lot of other places try to replicate, but don't quite achieve. You get direct access to New York City, but you also get more space, a more relaxed pace, and a stronger sense of community. And especially uptown, you tend to see that balance even more. Slightly quieter, a little more residential, but still very connected. It's also a place where the lifestyle extends beyond just the apartment or the building you're in. A big part of the value here is everything outside your door. The streets, the waterfront, the businesses, and just how easy it is to be part of the area. And that's ultimately what draws so many people here. It's not just about buying or renting a place, it's about how you want your day-to-day life to feel. And when you put all of that together, that's really what makes Uptown Hoboken and Hoboken overall such a unique place to live.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to learn more about Hoboken.